Welcome to Massive Beers. I'm Matt. This is a beer review. That's what we do here. We do a lot of stuff, but most of it's beer reviews and a little Woodland farm up in this piece. Bourbon batch number 6. Now I'm kind of curious about this beer. One, it is a Scottish Wee Heavy. Hey, I can dig on that. It's a Scottish Wee Heavy, that our anniversary beer that it's called words. It's very hard. It says our anniversary beer aged for a year in Buffalo Trace bourbon barrels. Okay, 12%. Okay. 2022. Like they marked? Like that's weird. Maybe they messed up on the design. I don't know. I assume their batch 6 was only made once, so I assume there's a keystroke error. It's a 2022 version? I don't know. But yeah. Barrel-aged wee heavies. I'm a fan. Not a big hiss in there. A little smokiness up in that piece. Let's see what's what. I am really kind of lagging behind on a lot of reviews. And I don't think I've reviewed anything for over a week. She Shed, man. Massive home base. And the kiddo is like the important thing right now. So, but I was sitting here kind of doing a bunch of stuff. Like my brain hurts from like just reading and learning. It's those learnings and those books that'll get you. Big beer time. Label-wise, I've dug on this. Like I said, from the pretty much all the beers that they sent off from Woodland Farm are pretty much the same. And I like that kind of consistency. So, yes. Not too shabby. Beer-wise, I mean, you could say this looks like a wee heavy. Say it looks like 19 different things. It has this murky kind of Belgian super dark quaddy thing going on in combination with like a stout kind of barley wine blend that has me all kinds of like interested right now. So yeah, the coloration on it is absolutely fantastic. That head is beautiful, just a skosh darker than what you expect. A malted malt ball color core, like your Whopper core kind of look like. Noses. Yeah, it's like a date figgy. It's very much reminiscent of American barley wine, or English barley wine, sorry. But there's something a little bit, I don't want to go smoky, I don't want to go generic like that you would normally go with like a wee heavy, but there's something kind of extra to the way the malt kind of comes off. Like a nuttiness, almost like a slightly anisey kind of dirtiness. I say that in a very, very positive way. Either I got a big cut in my leg or I got a big old tick on me. Not sure which one's which. That's a big old cut in my leg. There you go. Yeah, I'm like, uh-oh. Been working outside so much, I was like, oh god, do I have a tick on me right now? Anyway. Yeah. Pump the brakes. Bugs freak me out. Ticks freak me out more than anything else. Anyway, back to the beer review. How do we come back from that? Anyway, it has this kind of like richness, almost like marzipan-y kind of thing. So think of like a desserty, richer, more adulty version of kind of nuttiness kind of going on there, which is really, really cool. That spirit is there. It's prominent. It's nothing hyper aggressive, but it's definitely there. I'm really curious about this. This is going to come off either really sweet or a bunch of different other ways, but hopefully cash money. Let's dive in. Cheers. It's tasty. It's got some. There's some parts to it missing for me. Man, I'm really judging these Woodland Farm beers hard. There are a lot of like old school kind of beers that like really kind of are my jams, and I want them to be the best of the best. Mouthfeel here is to die for. Very much Scotch ale-y. You think like Old Chub or some of the kind of like more super creamy, fluffy mouthfeel versions of like a Scotch wee heavy ale. It has that going with spades when you combine the fact that it's actually barrel aged and it's bringing that mouthfeel to it. You know, what's that? I wish I could do that Ollie G thing really well, but I can't. Especially left-handed. It does have this nice kind of spirit, this whiskey spirit thing going on. To talk about bourbon here, it comes off a little bit more like Canadian whiskey, a little bit more, I don't want to say harsh, but something less like a blended whiskey as opposed to like a single malt kind of whiskey thing going on here. Soft little barrel character. It's not like rich with a kind of like chocolate rubbed kind of tarriness thing going on. It's more of just a soft little vanilla characteristic. Nothing too crazy. A decent amount of oak to it. But it's that combination of it being like a wee heavy and a barrel-aged beer, and then coming off the way it does with that mouthfeel, that super sultry, soft, satiny, creamy, fluffy, creamy is the word I'm going to use. Mouthfeel to it. It's really, really fun. I dig it. Probably lacks just like a skosh of sweetness. Is kind of weird. You know, Scotch heavy barrel-aged beer, you expect to be kind of lean, sweeter. Well, it's not going to be confused with being a bitter beer. A touch of sweetness might do it a little bit of a service. I like this. There's something missing from it. Like I said earlier, that there's some kind of impactful portion of the show, whether it be that touch of sweetness, something a little bit more richer. I don't know what it is about it. It's really beautiful as far as mouthfeel goes. The tastes are compelling. The spirit is there. The beer is a little wanting. It definitely is all the parts of a Scotch ale when you come to that kind of roasted malt with that little bit of kind of charriness. Almost like one of my favorite beers from back in the day was Chicory Stout from Dogfish Head. It has this kind of woody kind of characteristic to maltiness, that nuttiness, that kind of marzipan-y kind of thing I was talking about earlier, but not nearly as sweet. It has that going for it in a very fun way. I dig this. I like it. I know I say that about a lot of beers, so I'm like, I dig it. But I do dig it. So there you go. Yeah, there's this like, almost like fruitcakey element to it too. When it comes to like how like the beer's kind of coming off. It's very complex for a Scotch ale. I mean, granted, there's barreling involved. There's, blah, blah, blah. But I like this. I think it's fun. It definitely has my kind of radar up as far as this brewery goes. Never hearing of them before and having these kind of fun, kind of bigger, maltier, barrel-aged beers. And done in a very old school yet leaning into new school kind of way. Is just, I don't know, something very fun about it. Let's put it that way. So I dig it. I like it. This is where this kind of like thing I do gets a little bit different. So if I kind of whittle it down to, is it one of the better barrel-aged beers I've had as of late? Mount Rushmore status? No, it's tasty. It's not out of the conversation, but it's not up there. Now, if we just kind of whittle that down to Scotch wee heavy, it opens up quite a bit of space, because how often you have them, these beers, these Scotch wee heavy beers, barrel-aged, ever kind of open it up to even a larger date period, the past couple of years, it very ekes towards the top. There's something about it, especially when it comes to that mouthfeel. And that's probably the thing that really kind of captures me. I just really dig it. You bring this, let's put it this way, brass tacks. You bring this to a share of a bunch of different ticker guys and gals, and they and them and everything in between. Do they hate it? No. Do they take an Instagram picture of it and post it online? No. But I think it's worthy, of being discussed and worthy. I mean, that sounds pretentious. I don't know why I made it sound that way. It's not that it's worthy of being discussed. It's a really tasty, well done Scotch wee heavy barrel-aged beer, and you don't see that a lot, and it's a very pretty thing. Let's end it there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Yeah, let me know what you think about Woodland Farm in general. I see they have killer food, killer spot. Let me know if you know their whole deal. Be very appreciative. Going to get up there sooner, hopefully, rather than later. Let's all just bow to the non-tick gods that don't have a tick on me right now. I was just freaking out halfway through a beer review. Let me know if you've had this beer specifically, especially this vintage. This what do they call that when you get a baseball card and it's an error? I think they call it an error card. This not 2020 version. It's 2022 version. And, yeah, hope we'll see you next time. Cheers.